What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Sunday, April 27th, 2025. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $15 best bet, head to Pickdawgz.com. Click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. I've got an MLB pickoff play on the board today. I've got my MLB Sunday Night Spotlight game. Got a 5-pack, including both those plays in MLB. And I got my NBA Game of the Month on the board as well. So make sure that you check something out, whether it's a daily or a long-term pass. Remember to use that promo code PICK at checkout for 15% off your purchase. But we're here to talk about the 4-game NHL card that we have for the playoffs on Sunday. Again, had a bit of a tricky day on Saturday. You know, obviously my Leafs fell short. I think we had a push with that Florida game. We might have cashed if you had it at 6.5. You know, we had like I said, we had some solid hockey action on the board. But let's try to improve on that today, and let's try to make some money. You guys know the drill. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game comes to us from the Enterprise Center, where the Winnipeg Jets pay a visit to the St. Louis Blues for Game 4 of their series. The Blues getting on the board with an emphatic 7-2 win in Game 3 on Friday. The thing for me, though, is that, you know, that game was very un-Connor Hellebuyck-like, and we kind of saw this sort of same deal in the Florida-Tampa Bay series, where a world-class goalie like Andrei Vasilevskiy had a bad game, and he bounced back in the next outing. His team didn't get the win, but, you know, he still had a strong showing. I think Winnipeg shows up here, and I think that they do get the bounce back here. You got to remember, Connor Hellebuyck was one of the best goaltenders, if not the best goaltender in the NHL this season, and even the best are going to have bad games from time to time. And St. Louis, in a desperation spot, trying to not go down 0-3 in the series, they jumped on Winnipeg early. They scored in the first minute of the game, had a 2-0 lead within the first 4 minutes, and just did not look back. But this is still a Winnipeg team that's very disciplined. They've had St. Louis's number for the better part of the last couple of years. And I just think that the Winnipeg Jets, I think we're getting a great price with them to bounce back. I think that a lot of folks might see St. Louis on home ice after that big win and just jump back on the Blues here to make it a best of 3. I still think the Jets are still just the better team and the more consistent team here. So I'm going to lean towards the Jets on the money line in this one. Now we head to the Prudential Center for a matchup between the New Jersey Devils and the Carolina Hurricanes. And going into Game 3, I was looking at this game, and I think I said in the wraparound that it was going to be sort of the lesser of two evils, and which one was going to show up first. Was it going to be the Devils, you know, who were struggling to score going into that game, where I think they had scored 2 runs or less in 6 of their previous 7 games, or the Hurricanes, who had lost 7 straight road games going into that game? Well, neither one of those things really changed, as the Devils won a 3-2 game, and the Hurricanes continue to struggle on the road. But that's why I'm going to roll with the Devils here. The Hurricanes just can't win outside of Carolina, and that's been the problem for Carolina for much of the season. When you have them at the Lenovo Center, they are one of the best teams in the NHL when they are at home. But on the road, they just turn into a completely different team. They have issues for whatever reason, either scoring or keeping pucks out of the net, whatever it may be. But I think this could be a spot for the Devils to weasel themselves, I don't say weasel, but to sort of sneak themselves back into this series. And at home, you know, we're getting a decent price with them here. Sort of with their backs against the wall. Came through in Game 3. I'm going to take a shot for it to happen again in Game 4. I'm going to lean towards the Devils on the money line in this one. Now we head to the Bell Center for a matchup between the Montreal Canadiens and the Washington Capitals. And if you've watched the Wraparound, you know that I've gone on record multiple times talking often about the Washington Capitals and how I think that the goaltending tandem of Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren is one of the more underappreciated and underrated goaltending tandems in the NHL. That being said, I think that because of how good Logan Thompson has been, I think that Lindgren is a fine backup The problem is that I don't know the status of Logan Thompson's injury right now. It did not look good when he was bowled over in game 3. His leg bent at an awkward angle. He had to be helped off the ice. He couldn't put any weight on the leg. I was concerned it was a torn ACL or something like that. But, now it looks like it's going to be Lindgren, at least for the next little bit, until we sort of get any sort of news on Logan Thompson for the Capitals. On the other side, Sam Montembeault has been, missing time for the Canadiens. But the difference for me is that Jakub Dobeš has shown that he can sort of take the step and be the goalie that the Canadiens need him to be. He was very successful in limited action in his debut season. And he is supposed to be the goalie of the future for the Montreal Canadiens. And I honestly think that this building in Montreal is going to be rocking once again here. I think the Capitals are a little bit wounded here. I think they're going to be on the defensive. I think the Canadiens could smell blood in the water. I think the Canadiens are honestly live to win this series. I think that, it's obviously going to depend on what happens here, but I trust Dobeš in goal a lot more than I trust Lindgren right now. Like I said, Lindgren did not look very good in his limited action in that series. In game 3. And I think that the Canadiens make this a best of 3. I'm going to take Montreal on the money line in this one. Our final game on Sunday's card takes us to Rogers Place, where the Edmonton Oilers take on the Los Angeles Kings. And this one's simple for me. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm taking the over in this one. We've seen some exciting hockey played in this series. We've seen a combined 30 goals. We've seen 2 games this series that have had 11 goals. And let's face it, the Kings could have easily been up 3-0 in this series, but they gave up a game-tying goal to the Oilers in the early part of, or I should say with a few minutes to go in the third period, then pulled out one of the stupidest coaches challenges I think I've ever seen. There was really nothing to benefit from that. There was no goalie interference. There was, nothing that was so blatantly obvious that it was going to get overturned. And the Kings lost the challenge, had a delay of game penalty. The Oilers, who had all the momentum after that, game-tying goal, go down 10 seconds later and score, and then bury a pair of empty netters to secure the win. The only reason I didn't back the Oilers here is just because I still have, my concerns, but I just feel that rather than trying to split hairs on a side in what truly is a coin flip matchup, go with what's been working and taking the over here. There's been questionable goaltending. Both these teams have fantastic offenses. Right now we're seeing playoff McDavid and playoff Draisaitl really rise to the occasion. And like I said, I think that we're going to have more goals in this one. This has been an entertaining and fast-paced series. Give me the over here for a 4th straight game. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Sunday, April 27th, 2025. Again, if you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, head to Pickdawgz Premium. And remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout for 15% off your purchase. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys soon.